Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. It is June the 24th, Friday, June 24th, 2022. And the biggest news story of this year, and probably in a long, long time, is that the Supreme Court has officially released their ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, the 1970s abortion ruling. Now, we knew about this pretty much a couple weeks ago because somebody at the Supreme Court or in the building leaked the draft, the opinion draft that would be coming out soon. We didn't know when, but we figured it would be before the end of the month. And correct, they did this on a Friday, which is interesting because now the entire country has the weekend to stew over this. So if you're not familiar with Roe v. Wade, essentially what it said was that abortion was legal in the country on the federal level. That's the federal Supreme Court. What today's overturning of Roe v. Wade, it does not make abortion illegal and it does not make abortion legal. It doesn't do either. It actually gives the right to decide if abortion is legal or not to the state. So each state gets to make their own choice. Now, with that said, and I believe when we check out the story in just a second, there are 13 states currently that have automatic triggers. When the Supreme Court overrules Roe v. Wade, which they've done officially today, it will immediately become illegal in those states. There's a map. I'm going to show you what states have what laws so that you know what today's ruling actually means for you in your state. Now, also, there are additional states, like 10 or 11 additional states that are immediately, they don't have triggers that do it automatically, but they are expected to immediately go into making laws to either ban abortion completely or mostly. So there's going to be 25 or 30 states effective immediately or almost immediately that will put very, very strict bans or close to bans on abortion. Of course, there are a handful of states that are completely going to stay the same. Nothing will change. They're completely in support of abortions. And the argument now that comes up is if you live in a state that doesn't agree with what you agree on and you can't, how many people are going to travel to other states, so on and so forth. So I think it's best if we just go over and check out the story. I'll show you the map and then you'll know where it stands for your state and your situation. And then, of course, you can comment down below. As always, the comments are open to all of you, and I would love to read them and hear some opinions and some thoughts on today's historic ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court, overturning a nearly 50-year-old ruling, Roe v. Wade, on the abortion topic. Let's go over and take a look at it. Okay, so obviously this is the biggest story in a long, long time. It is on every site. You can pull it up on CNN. You can pull it up on Fox. You can pull it up on TMZ, for God's sakes. You name the website, it's up. But I thought Fox News had an interesting story here, and I don't pick my news stories based on who it is or right wing, left wing. I just pick what I thought covered it the best. This one was at 1:10 Eastern time, which is just a few minutes ago. I'm recording this at 1:30. Biden, or 1:50 p.m. Biden urged protesters to remain peaceful after the Supreme Court, but he vows that this is not over. He's asking Congress to restore Roe v. Wade protections as federal law. So President Biden on Friday urged Congress to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade made by codifying abortion rights into federal law after the Supreme Court Friday overturned the landmark decision while urging protesters to remain peaceful and saying violence is never acceptable. So essentially, because the Supreme Court overruled this and allows states to block it, he wants Congress to make a federal law saying that the states are not allowed to block you from having an abortion. So, excuse me. So I don't really know where that's going to go, if anywhere. The president from the White House slammed the high court's decision to overturn, which protected a woman's right to choose and her right to make intensely personal decisions with her doctor, free from interference of politics. Biden said Roe versus Wade reaffirmed basic principles of equality, that women have the power to control their own destiny, and to reinforce the fundamental right of privacy. So Biden is a pro-choice president. As far as I understand, he's always been pro-choice. I don't believe he's flip-flopped on this at all. Pro-choice just means that you believe in the right for a woman to choose whether she's going to have an abortion or not. Pro-life means you don't believe in abortions at all. So in case you had any kind of misunderstanding on that. The president also said that Roe v. Wade was the correct decision on a complex matter through a careful balance between a woman's right to choose. Let me be very clear and unambiguous. The only way we can secure a woman's right to choose, the balance that existed, is for Congress to restore the protections of Roe v. Wade as a federal law. No executive action from the president can do that. He's correct. He does not have the right to change that. The president said voters need to make their voices heard in November's midterm elections, saying they must elect more senators and representatives who will codify a woman's right to choose in the federal law once again. With the Supreme Court ruling, I don't know if Congress and the Senate can make a federal law to overrule the Supreme Court decision here. I believe this is kind of like that federal law with marijuana. It is still illegal by federal law, but the states had the right to make it legal, and they did. So if Congress made a federal law protecting abortion rights, but the states had one saying no, I believe it would still work just like marijuana law. So I don't believe that what Biden's saying here makes any sense. And I'm trying to be completely partisan, like down the line here of not judging who he is or his party or anything, just going off the basis that I understand. I don't think it would do anything. So I don't really know that maybe somebody with a better law degree can, an actual law degree could explain this to me. Elect more state leaders to protect this right at a local level. We need to restore the protections of Roe as law of the land. We need to elect officials who will do that. Roe is on the ballot. Personal freedoms are on the ballot. The right to privacy, liberty, equality, they're all on the ballot. Until then, I'll do all my power to protect a woman's right in states where they will face the consequences of today's decision. The president said while the Supreme Court's decision casts a dark shadow over large swaths of the land, there are still many states in this country, which we're going to talk about in the map in just a second, that still recognize a woman's right to choose. So if a woman lives in a state that restricts abortions, the Supreme Court's decision does not prevent her from traveling from her home state to the state that allows it. Meanwhile, the president urged everyone, no matter how deeply they care about this, to keep all protests peaceful, 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 peaceful. No intimidation, violence never acceptable. And so the president's plea for peaceful protests come amid promises from a pro-choice extremist group, Jane's Revenge, to deliver a night of rage if the court overturns Roe v. Wade. Well, they've done it, so there you go. Open season against pro-life centers and has taken credit for dozens of attacks across the country. If abortions aren't safe, you're not either, they said. So we scroll down, you can read the rest of the thing, but here is pretty much the state breakdown, which I will find. It was on this page originally, and we'll have to, let me see if I can pull it up. I think CNN also had the breakdown of the maps of each state, which will show you, depending, again, where you live, which ones it are. So here it is. Yes, here's the map. And so we just click on that, and you can go to CNN. I'll link this below. Half of the U.S. states could ban abortions as Roe v. Wade is overturned. So here it is. So 13 states have the so-called trigger laws, meaning abortion will almost immediately be banned with Roe no longer in effect. In some cases, the law requires an official, such as an attorney general, to certify that Roe has been struck down before the law can take effect. But being that it's a Friday, can they do that immediately? Can they do it Monday? When? Obviously, it's going to be pretty much right away. So 26 states have laws indicating that they intend to ban abortions, according to the Guttmacher Institute. 9 states have pre-Roe bans that could potentially be enforced with the ruling overturned, and 13 states have trigger bans in place, meaning the abortion will almost immediately be banned with Roe no longer in effect. So the trigger bans that are already in effect, and these would be the states that would immediately go to illegal: North and South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. The entire East Coast does not have these trigger laws, with the exception of maybe Kentucky, Tennessee being Eastern. Most of this is in the Deep South: Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Deep Texas, Oklahoma. And then out west, obviously Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, pretty religious areas. So that would be one reason. The banned abortions prior to Roe. So Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, Mississippi, Alabama. Alabama, the one that's added on there, they had laws before. West Virginia had laws. Michigan and Wisconsin had laws, and Arizona had laws. So you can pretty much assume that they will be banned there as well. Now, past bans are extreme limits on abortion that could be enforced. So these are states that have not outright banning it, but pretty close to it. So all the same states, again: Idaho, Utah, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, again, the Deep South. Missouri and Iowa added to that, or Missouri was in there too. So Iowa added to that, Kentucky, Tennessee again, West Virginia and Alabama, the two added on there that had it before. And then we also add Georgia, South Carolina, and Ohio. So Ohio, a little interesting one up there in that area. But again, the Deep South definitely has all these trigger laws and these bans. They will be banning abortions in the Deep South for sure. States that the Institute classifies as likely to ban abortions based on the state's history. Montana, again, up there in that kind of Bible Belt area, up in that religious type area. Nebraska, interesting one, it's out west. Indiana, and then Florida. Now, Florida, because I live in Florida, if you're not familiar, because we are such a split state, Florida literally is like 50-50 Democrats, Republicans. We are 50-50 conservatives to liberals. We're 50-50 rich to poor. We're 50-50 immigrants, Spanish, Cubans, islands, Haitians, Mexicans, all that, Latinos to Americans. And we're 50-50 Floridians to either people that retired here, snowbirds, retirees from up north, all that sort of stuff. Everything in Florida is generally split down the line, and it's probably going to be a fight in Florida, but it says it's likely that we will ban abortions here in Florida. So we'll have to wait and see how Florida plays out. But that is the maps right there. So any of the other states will not. You will still be allowed to have it. So the entire West Coast, Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, New Mexico, all do not have laws. They could still ban it, probably not. And then, of course, the entire Northeast, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania, all those states are pretty much not going to touch it, if I had to guess. Mostly Democratic regions, which typically lean pro-choice, and they will not ban abortions up there. The Louisiana Attorney General says that their trigger law banning abortions in the state is in effect. Takes effect after the court's decision, and I'm assuming that's instantaneously. So there you go. That's the map. That's the update from probably the biggest news story that I've seen in at least the last year, if not several years, if not decades. Roe versus Wade overturned by the Supreme Court, giving the states the right to ban or keep abortions on a state level. Meanwhile, Biden trying to get Congress to put out federal law that I don't think will amount to very much. As always, those comment sections belong to you. I will leave this one 100% wholly up to the audience, and I'll read those comments the rest of tonight. As always, thank you for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate you being here, and I'll cover this as more updates come out, as I know they will throughout the day and the night. Probably have another video up tomorrow, and until then, I'll see everyone next time.